on Thursday, July 14th, and approving a system-wide 9.6% tuition hike, the Regents of the University of California held a press conference to answer questions and urge citizens to challenge the state government concerning the $650 million cut from the university's budget.
While the students feel yet once again we're placing the burden of the state shortfall on their shoulders, the slide material that you saw clearly shows that next year there's $1 billion problem and student fees are helping to fix about a quarter of that, which means chancellors and their campuses have to respond to serious changes, which jeopardizes what all the students want, which is a very valuable superior education. The data that were cited from the table are that although the fees have gone up, a very substantial proportion of students will see no fee increase at all. UC has one of the most generous student aid programs in the country. It's the envy of much of public education in the rest of the country. So while the students who have to pay the fees certainly will feel that, many students will not have to pay the fees.
We do take seriously some of the comments from the Regents and the students about the growing impact on the middle class. And when we look at our own statistics, that is the portion of the California population that is most affected by these tuition increases. So we had already started a process, and we're going to continue it this year, to look at programs where we can expand financial aid into the middle class for California. The success of our financial aid program rests on a partnership with the state government in Cal Grants and Pell Grants. And to the extent that those are impacted, it places more of a burden on the university in meeting that institutional aid.
What do I tell my students at Riverside? I say that this is a horrible but necessary decision, and it's really through the lens of the students on our campus, and I think all of the campuses. It's really the least lousy decision that can be made today in order to preserve access to as many classes and as many discussion sections and as much academic support as is possible.
When the issue was first a possibility because we didn't have a balanced budget, I think I speak for all the Regents, but I'll just speak personally. I was very, very much opposed to raising fees. I mean, I felt, enough was enough. And I asked to look at every single possible alternative. And that's what today was all about. I mean, I had actually reviewed a lot of them before because I asked, as had several of the other Regents, and you saw, I don't know how many alternatives we had. And I saw where we were saving money, and you saw how we want to save even more, and I saw the possibilities that we were working on, and I said, well, why can't this be ready today, and why can't that be ready today? And I asked all those questions, and the answers were good, why it couldn't be ready today, and why maybe it'll be ready in 6 months, and maybe it'll be ready in 2 years, and then you saw the section that they're still working on, and then you saw the section that we took off the table, but we might have to go back and look at again. Then we brought every single option that we could think of back to the full board, and I welcome any other ideas that anybody has. I think I speak for all of us. And the desire to continue to explore ways to offset this, and the idea to continue to explore, to engage the legislature more, this may sound very idealistic, but I dream of a time when we're going to be able to come in and say, look, we raised this much money from one of our programs that we didn't think about. The legislature suddenly saw the light, and guess what? We're reducing fees. I hear the students. We all hear the students. I want to be like the students. I want to go, and do, I was once a student. I want to go and I was once, every time the students are protesting against us, I always feel like I used to be on that side, so I'm sitting there and I'm saying, why can't we as a body, why can't we as the public, why can't all of us do what the students are doing to draw attention to this and really, become activists, so that the legislature changes their position and makes us, I think as Russ Gould so well said, their highest priority. What could be more important than education?
What can you imagine would make the legislature change the way they are acting and change the outcome for the UC system?
I'm happy
Anyone
to
want to take a crack?
I'll take a crack at it. You vote. I mean, that's really that simple. They're very much affected by whether you're going to vote for them or not. And if the citizens of California rise up and say the most important thing to us is the education of our children, And this is, you know, protecting the education. And again, I want to be clear, I'm not just talking about UC, I'm talking about Cal State and the community colleges. And if they say, you make this our highest priority, you know, along with healthcare, I mean, I'm not trying to, you know, then they respond. Because they, you know, people want to be reelected. But we have to make our voices heard. And honestly, and I'll say this to you with all my heart, the press has such an impact. Do you know, what you write has such an impact, and they read it. Do you know, so we haven't done enough, and you know, I think we all can assume responsibility because they keep getting reelected and they keep slashing education.
The Daily Cal story recently, one of their many stories recently, said, don't blame the university, don't blame the Regents, go to the legislature. That's a different statement out of the student press, and that's very important. So if you write an article on student fees go up again, you can leave it as students go, you know, have to pay more money. If part of the story is it's done to protect the quality of education because the state has defunded higher education, it's a very different story.